What's up, everybody? It is Jay here. I am sorry that it has been a while since I posted anything. I've been busy and lazy, and somebody roasted me for not posting a video, and then somebody else was really nice about it and was like, "Oh, I missed your video. You should really make more videos." And I was like, "Okay, here we are." So I'm gonna talk about something, and this is a bit of a personal story, as well as it is just talking about something that affects everybody if and when they transition, and that's about moving on from things and letting go of things. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I was an Irish Girl Guide, and this is just one of the many badges I have sitting in front of me from when I was a guide for a really, really long time. I started Irish Girl Guides when I was very young, when I was maybe like 5 or 6, and the branch that they have, the part that's for the youngest kids is called Ladybirds, and I was a Ladybird. I have badges here from when I was a Ladybird. This was from when I was a Ladybird, and I know it's very gay to have a little rainbow badge, and I actually, I might use that at some point for something, but it was very important to me because it had been a part of my life for a really long time. It was a part of my mother's life. It was something that my aunt was involved in. It was something that had been, it was part of the family, and it was part of my life for so long. I was a Ladybird for as long as you could be one. I was a brownie for a really long time. I moved, and I didn't get to finish brownies technically, but then when we moved, after a while, a guide group started there, and I was a guide. Then I was a guide when we moved back home, and then I realized I was trans. And obviously it's Irish Girl Guides, and I will put a disclaimer here. I was a scout for a while, but scouts was never really the same to me. Scouts was always more, it just didn't, there is a difference between Irish Girl Guides and between Scouting Ireland, and I just personally preferred Irish Girl Guides. It just suited my interests more. I'm not an outdoorsy campy person, so I didn't really enjoy camping and stuff like that, so Scouts wasn't quite for me in that way. But all of a sudden, this thing that was really important to me and had been really close to my life was no longer helpful for me, because I was uncomfortable. I had always taken up space in these groups as a masculine figure. I had always put myself across as a masculine leader figure in these groups, and then when I realized I was trans, I knew it couldn't continue. I knew I had to leave, because you have to be a girl to be an Irish Girl Guides, to the extent that Irish Girl Guides and a lot of guiding organizations around the world do have rules saying that they are inclusive of trans girls, but that they will facilitate trans men transitioning out of their organization rather than just kicking them out because boys. But it was hard. And I know that at first I was glad to have quit because I no longer had the dysphoria, but at the same time I missed it because I still see people that I knew from when I was in guides and that I was friends with at the time, and who I knew through guides, and they've done so many wonderful things with guides, and I'm so happy for them and so proud of them for making an amazing thing even more amazing, because guides is a great organization and I absolutely wholeheartedly support them, and I think they're wonderful, honestly. And it was just hard to let go. And now it's not the only thing that when transitioning it was hard to let go of, but it was the thing that stood out the most as something I could make a video about. I have in front of me all of these badges from when I was a guide. I have a badge from World Thinking Day in 2013. I have this little badge from when I was a Ladybird and I was really young. There's a bit sticking out of it, don't know what that is. We had a fireman badge, and we had a bookworm badge. There's one here, hang on. There's a collector badge that I got for having a coin collection. So there was so much, and we did so many things, and it was really important to me for a really long time. And in reality, I had to let that go. And in reality, there's a lot of things in transition that you will have to let go, because either it's not going to be something that can remain part of your life. This is obviously a girls' organization. I can't participate in a girls' organization. I am male. So obviously that's a very clear one. Or in other situations, you might have to give something up in order to move forward with your transition. Maybe somebody, something is holding you back from transitioning. Maybe there's a job, maybe there's a person, maybe there's a habit that's holding you back. For example, like you would have to stop smoking before you have surgery because, it's surgery and smoking isn't good for you. Or if your partner doesn't want you to transition but it's what's right for you, you might have to let them go. And it's just very much something that it will happen to you. So you need to understand that it's okay, because you can stay in contact with these things. For example, my mother is involved in guides, and at one point, she's involved in the organization, and at one point she asked me to help her because the Irish guiding organization, Irish Girl Guides, were trying to make guiding more inclusive, and my mum just happened to be involved and happened to have me. So she brought me in to talk to them about being trans and stuff, especially since while obviously I would always say that it's better to talk to trans girls who would be joining your service rather than a trans dude who's leaving it. I think their perspective was that because I had already been a guide, I understood how guiding worked, and what situations would be like, and because I was already such an outspoken advocate for trans people in a lot of ways, it was good to have somebody who knew what they were doing, talking about how guiding could be more inclusive. And that's one thing that I did to kind of pay homage in a way to how much guiding means to me and how important it was to me. I think another thing that you can do, especially with something like guiding, is you can keep it in your heart. The stuff that you learn as a guide, the promise, the guiding promise, and the laws are things that are good for your life, whether you're a scout, you're a guide, or you're not. They're important things to live by and important things to know regardless of those things. So I keep those things with me, on the inside, you know what I mean? That you keep them in your heart and you keep them in your mind and you keep those memories and those lessons. And it's okay to be sad about it. It's okay to miss it. It's okay to be man, I wish I still had something like this. But at the same time, you can find new things. For example, I see the people that I was friends with when I was in guides who have gone on to do amazing things with guiding and have gone on to become great young leaders and stuff like that. And then I noticed that I left guides and I started going to belong to. And then I became a peer educator, and then I started being this activist-y person who does a lot of stuff for the trans community. And then I realized that I've made my own guides for myself out of belong to. I've given myself the same kind of personal growth and the same kind of opportunities by going to a group for trans people and for LGBT young people. I've managed to create the same kind of opportunities and progression for myself from another group and from another situation. So sometimes you might have to let go to what you were originally planning to do, but you might end up doing something really, really similar. I'm still being the same kind of person I was when I was a patrol leader, when I was a girl guide, except now I'm a peer educator and I'm trans. It's the same kind of thing, and that's just how it is. Sometimes you have to let go. You just do. Sometimes it's no longer helpful to you. Sometimes it's no longer helpful to the people around you for you to be involved in a certain thing. And it's okay to let go. It's okay for it to be difficult. It's okay for you to maintain a link with things that are really important to you and that you just feel really strongly about. And you will find that you will find something new. Something will replace what you got rid of. And it will be better for you, and it will be healthier for you. And it will still make you happy. And that's all I really have to say for today. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do click the like button down below. And the comment box is open, obviously, for anything you have to say. And, subscribe for more content like this. And, yeah, I am here with all my guide badges now. So, dib, and goodbye.